What is up, guys? It is the Sports Nerd, Brad Walker, and welcome to the Sunshine State Sports Jabber, part of NGSC Sports. Guys, remember the website is ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. This is your first show, guys. The Sunshine State Sports Jabber is a all-Florida sports podcast hosted by yours truly. My show is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports arena. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express delivery, and express pickup and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? And guys, like I said, welcome into the Sunshine State Sports Jabber. Hopefully everyone out there is staying safe. I have noticed that the numbers for coronavirus are going down all over the country and all over the world. That's a good thing, guys. We need to continue to do what we've been doing. I think with the vaccines being rolled out, it will definitely help us in the future getting back to what will be called the new normal when we get back. Because you know what, guys, as a sports fan, I am dying to go to a live sports event where there's more than, a couple thousand people in the stands. But let me go ahead, guys. I am going to go ahead and start with the National Football League since they are now in the off season. And I'm going to start with the team in Northern Florida, and that would be the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you guys do not know, they own the #1 pick in this year's draft, which we are now just 1 month away from. April is next month. We are 1 month away from the 2021 NFL draft. But here, guys, are some free agents the Jacksonville Jaguars should target during the offseason. If you guys have also not heard, they have hired Urban Meyer as their head coach. If you do not know who Urban Meyer is, he was a great college football coach leading the Florida Gators and the Ohio State Buckeyes to national championships. So there you go with that. So he's in the National Football League. Right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars have $77 million in cap space. That's pretty good for the cap being. I think it's either going to stay the same or go down this year. The revenue obviously was not the same last year when you had limited fans in the stands. So again, the revenue wasn't there, so the NFL has to keep their salary cap here. So let us start, guys, with a guy named Romeo Okwara, defensive end for the Detroit Lions. Again, this is something, guys, that you have to look at and say to yourself, you always got to get better. Your front four can put pressure on it. It will definitely help out your secondary in knocking passes down, getting after the quarterback. That's the big thing now because the game has turned into a passing game, guys. It's not a running game anymore. It's a throw it out, throw it deep down the field type of game now. So this would be something that the Jaguars could use in pass rush. Let me go down and look right here. Okara was definitely good for the Lions last year. He would definitely fit in with defensive end Kaylan Chasen, this will be his second year, and Josh Allen should both be healthy. So this will be in addition to those two on the defensive line for the Jacksonville Jaguars, which would definitely help. For all my Jaguars fans out there, let's just say this. You guys only had one win last year. Let's try to shoot for more than one win this year. This guy would definitely help that and help that defense because, they're going to have to start somewhere. Either they want to start with the defense or start with the offense. Obviously, we all know pretty much 10 times out of 10 they're going to take Trevor Lawrence #1 overall with the draft. They have the #1 overall pick, and I'm going to say 10 times out of 10 they're going to take that unless they get some humongous trade from somebody that will keep them away from getting the #1 pick. Another guy that can help the secondary would be Cameron Sutton of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He appeared in 12% of the Pittsburgh Steelers' total defensive snaps last year. He stood up for all 16 games last year and started 6 of them, registering 30 tackles, 8 pass defense, 1 pick, and 3 forced fumbles. Again, if you want to beef up your defensive line or if you want to go and get another guy to add to that secondary to help, this, again, definitely would help the Jacksonville Jaguars in that secondary. Again, he was a 3rd-round selection in 2017. He's logged 73 total tackles, 17 pass deflections, 4 fumbles, 3 interceptions in his 4-year career. So, again, with the Steelers. So, again, now he is a free agent, and this could be somebody that could definitely help the Jacksonville Jaguars in their secondary. Another guy that could also help in the defensive secondary is Rayshon Jenkins of the Los Angeles Chargers. Here's another guy who is low in the cap, something like that. He has started 31 games and logging 92 tackles, 6 for loss, 8 passes, defense, and 8 fumbles. He has started basically every game for the Chargers the last 2 seasons, a 4th-round pick in 2017. That's pretty darn good, guys. That would be somebody that you could target again as another secondary piece that could fit in with that type of thing. And Jacksonville, again, if they have their offensive with their quarterback, build the defense if that's what they're going to do, and that's what they're looking at. A linebacker will be Tydius Bowser of the Baltimore Ravens. Here's another guy. Now, he was defense with Yannick Ngakoue, who obviously left here. He has a 3-year, $21 million contract in 2021. He was a 2nd-round pick in 2017. He played 15% of the Baltimore Ravens' total snaps on defense. He had 34 total tackles, 2 sacks, 5 pass defense, and 3 picks. 51% of Baltimore total snaps on defense. That's amazing, guys. 2017, but last year he appeared in over half of the defensive snaps. And again, guys, that has to be major. You have to be staying on the field, and that's going to help any team. Of course, let's go with wide receivers. Nelson Aguilar of the Las Vegas Raiders could fit in well. Could be a nice weapon for Mr. Trevor Lawrence in his first year as a Jaguar. That definitely would help. Again, you have the wide receivers that they already have in Jacksonville. Of course, there are talented receivers like Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, and Kenny Golladay are also out there possibly for the Jacksonville Jaguars to go get. Aguilar had 48 receptions for 896 yards, 8 touchdowns. He is averaged a career best 18.5 yards per catch last year with the Raiders. So again, guys, those are 5 guys they could go and pick up in free agency before the draft next month and solidify either the defensive line, the defensive secondary, or you pick an offensive weapon to help out your rookie quarterback who will be a rookie quarterback. And guys, they have to go offensive line too, because remember, let's look at what happened to Joe Burrow last year in Cincinnati. He came out, he had a couple good games, but he was running for his life, and lo and behold, he tore his ACL and MCL, and is going to probably be out for this year too in recovery. I do not want to see that happen to Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars, because that would be disastrous to pick him number 1 overall and him get hurt within the first few weeks of the season, or any part of the season for that matter. You don't want to do that. You don't want to have that happen to your rookie quarterback. So here, guys, is a mock draft for the Jaguars for their first-round picks, stuff like that. So obviously, number 1 is Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson. We already know that. We know that's going to happen. They pick again at 33. That would be Ivo Matano, a cornerback out of Syracuse. We're just talking about defensive secondary. At 45th, they're going to try to get Pat Freiermuth, the tight end at Penn State, another weapon for Trevor Lawrence. At 65, offensive tackle Walker Little out of Stanford. Again, you need offensive line, guys. It's major to have an offensive line to protect your quarterback. And again, that also helps the running game as well. So those are some of the picks. Again, that's a mock, guys. We will know a lot more as we get closer to the draft. I'm assuming that the mock will change numerous times from here on out until we get to the draft next month in April. And guys, I have another show called The Walker Report on Thursday nights. And if the draft starts on Thursday, if the first round's on Thursday or Wednesday, I may do an early Walker Report on Wednesday night if I can do that. And I might go live. If you guys want to come over there, I will link it in here and let you guys know. I will do a live. Maybe I'll do a YouTube live, not StreamYard. Maybe I'll do a YouTube live where I'll do a live stream from YouTube, and I'll share the link to you guys on social media to come over there, and I'm going to, react to the draft as we go. Would Alex Smith be a great backup quarterback to Trevor Lawrence in 2021? You're going to need a reliable veteran. This guy had an outstanding comeback again last year with his knees. He comes back. He is on point. everything else is going on. It's awesome to see that he did that. And once again, could he be that guy to kind of groom Trevor Warren along? I think he would be a great pick if he doesn't stay in Washington. He would be a great backup quarterback and somebody that Trevor Lawrence can learn from. I can't see why that would be an issue other than his health. Obviously, that is the one thing. It would be the stability of Alex Smith would definitely be the one thing that may hold him back. But being, that you're going to draft a rookie quarterback, it's always good to have a reliable veteran backup. Look at the Miami Dolphins, who I'm going to be talking about here in a few minutes with them. They drafted Tua Tagovailoa out of Alabama, but who was their backup? Ryan Fitzpatrick, who was a journeyman in the NFL. So now we'll go ahead, guys, and jump to the Miami Dolphins. Now, again, the big news, obviously, in Miami is, are we going to trade for Deshaun Watson or not? So, obviously, that's going to weigh a lot of it on that. Because remember, the Houston Texans won 3 first-rounders and a quarterback in exchange for Deshaun Watson. They're going to have to figure that out. They're going to have to figure that out, plain and simple. They're going to have to figure that out. So, I don't think it's going to happen from all the news that I've been reading that is not going to happen here for that. So let me go ahead, guys, and let me give you the 7-round mock draft for the Miami Dolphins, starting with their first-round pick would be Penny Sewell out of Oregon. He's a right tackle, which means he would be protecting Tua's blind side because, remember, Tua's a left-handed quarterback. So, again, that's the blind side. He's a 6 foot, 330-pound man. He would definitely be, they call it, may not be the sexiest pick at number 3, but he would solidify an offensive line that should be Miami's number 1 priority during this offseason. And, again, Tua, former Duck, could be Tua's blind side protector for the next 10-plus years. So that's definitely interesting. Now, the next pick would be tight end Kyle Pitts out of Florida. Whoever gets this guy definitely is going to be a huge upgrade. That would be a great weapon for Tua to have in there. Pitts is a matchup nightmare. He was in college at Florida. He would be a matchup nightmare for defenses and stuff like that. So that definitely, if the Dolphins can snag him, that would definitely be interesting there. Now, they're saying in that Miami would trade the pick 18 in the 2022 first-round pick to the Lions for pick 7. So they would move up to 7 with a trade there. That could happen. This is a mock draft, guys. I'm just going by what I'm reading. Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss. Wide receiver. Again, another weapon for your young quarterback in his second year. Tua struggled down the stretch, but Brian Flores kind of went back to him and stuck with him down the stretch. And again, that's what it's going to have to be, guys. It's going to have to be that type of thing where you have that coming up. He caught 86 passes for 1,193 yards and 8 touchdowns in the SEC, by the way, in the best conference in college football, in this podcaster's opinion. But we'll have to say that he would be great for that. Then they go to the secondary, and that would be Richie Grant out of UCF. Now, here we go again. UCF safety. He's not getting in the second round at pick 50. They'd be lucky to even make it this far. So, again, this is another guy that could fit in Brian Flores' defense. That would definitely be very, very well. Gabriel Cox, another guy out of LSU. Has been flying on draft boards. Great showing at the Senior Bowl. Of course, he was transfer. 6 of those NDSU. So he was a transfer for North Dakota. Then you have Terrell Slant, nose tackle for the Florida Gators. There's another one. Now, this would be Miami would trade pick 123 to the Bucs for pick 137 and pick 253 to move up to get this guy. So, again, that's just what that's saying. He is 6'5", weighs 360 pounds, and is a great rotational defensive lineman that can line up at nose right away. So that would definitely be something you could look into. Cornell Powell out of LSU as well. He had 52 receptions, 882 yards, and 7 touchdowns for the LSU Tigers this year. They are considering him the number 3 receiver in the NFL that can trust to complete and make plays every single week. Offensive lineman Isaiah Wilson had that's for the Tennessee Titans. The Dolphins would trade pick 253 to the Titans for offensive lineman Isaiah Wilson. So Wilson is already in there. That would just be a trade for a player. So we'll have to see if they do that. Now, you can relax because Deshaun Watson is not coming to Miami. Again, this is according to somebody's article, guys. I'm just saying this is what they're predicting this to be. However, there are expectations to almost everything, and the early 2003 and the days leading up to the Bucs and Raiders Super Bowl, I noticed a rather strange, although not entirely unexpected drama took place. Almost everyone, including the Las Vegas bookmarks, were sure that the Raiders were going to win. That did not happen. Okay, so again, guys, we'll have to wait and see. As of right now, from what I have been reading, the Miami Dolphins don't want to trade away picks, and they would have to trade it. Tua would be going to Houston, guaranteed. So you'd be trading your first-round pick this year in 2021, your first-round pick in the 2022 draft, and your first-round pick from last year, Tua Tagovailoa, to Houston to get Deshaun Watson. Now, would Watson fit well here in Miami? Absolutely, he would fit in well in Brian Flores' offense. But do you want to do that? Do you want to bring in a quarterback who's taken some beating in Houston to give up on a rookie who showed some good stuff last year? Would you want to give up on Tua this early after just one season and not give him a second chance? We'll have to wait and see again as we get closer to the draft in the next few weeks. We'll have to wait and see. Because look at what happened today, guys. If you did not hear, and this is not anything related to any of the Florida teams, but you have J.J. Watt, who was released by the Houston Texans. He signed a 2-year, $31 million deal with the Arizona Cardinals, who was not even on the radar. He was predicted to go to Miami. Green Bay was a team that was listed, and he ended up in Arizona. So again, guys, don't ever say nothing can happen when that happens. We'll have to wait and see. It looks like that Tua would like to see them draft Najee Harris out of Alabama, who, again, Tua would have some kind of, playing time with. He thinks he's a great wide receiver that could definitely make things happen. Harris is a running back, excuse me. He had rushed for more than 1,000 yards in each of the last 2 seasons. And Alabama's all-time leader in rushing at 3,843 and total 57 touchdowns for Alabama. So, again, would he be taken at number 3 as a running back? Would he be taken at that 3rd position? We'll have to wait and see, guys. The Dolphins have a lot of cap space and a lot of draft picks, again, like they did a year ago. So let us see what they do as we move into the draft and all that stuff as well. The next team, guys, is going to be the defending Super Bowl champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, again, there are 3 big free agents that the Bucs have, and that would be Lavonte David, Shaq Barrett, and Chris Godwin. Last week, guys, on this very show, I went and told you why Shaquille Barrett was more important than Chris Godwin. They can franchise tag Chris Godwin, which means now they'll have to lose either Shaq Barrett or Lavonte David. You can't sign all 3 of them unless they cut some salary, and I'll go into that later. So here is what is going on right now with Shaquille Barrett in the offseason. They're predicting that his average annual salary will be $19.7 million per season, which isn't a bad chunk of change at all. However, the elephant in the room is the Bucs' potential placing the franchise tag on him once again and keeping him off the open market. If he does not shake loose, however, he will be a very popular player during the free agent cycle. Over the last 2 seasons, the Bucs, after coming from Denver, Barrett has blossomed in one of the league's elite pass rushers. Dating back to 2019, he has 27.5 sacks, 93 pressures, and 38 hurries while helping the Bucs evolve into the Super Bowl 55 champions during a run. The 28-year-old was a monster, totaling 4 sacks, 9 tackles, and 8 quarterback hits. Needless to say, he's pretty good at disrupting the pass. And by far, guys, let's just say this, guys. He absolutely was one of the big reasons why the Bucs won the Super Bowl, because he was going after one Patrick Mahomes during the Super Bowl. No doubt about it, guys. No doubt about it. So again, let's see what the Bucs do. They could tag him, but again, you're still going to lose Godwin and you're still going to lose Lavonte David. So one of them has to go. Now, again, if that's the case, here are some of the potential landing: the Bucs, Jaguars, Jets, and of course, the New England Patriots would also be another one that he could land if they could sign him. If the Bucs can't sign him, then maybe one of the Jaguars definitely do. $77 million in cap space. The Jets have a lot of room, and the New England Patriots will be losing some massive contracts. So let's see. We'll see what happens. But here's how the Buccaneers can create immediate cap space to maybe possibly bring back a lot of their free agents. Again, you have Shaq Barrett, Lavonte David, Dominic Sue, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, and Leonard Fournette. From what I understand, guys, they don't expect Leonard Fournette to come back this year. I don't know if they have enough cap to sign him. For Tom Brady, their quarterback, he will have a cap hit of $28.4 million for 2021. Remaining a 1-year, $28.4 million is left on his contract. And Jason Light came out yesterday and said they would like to offer him an extension. So again, let's see what happens with everything going on this year. So again, would Brady come and, would he sacrifice some money to bring in more guys? He did that a lot in New England, and it played off very well there up until he left. Donovan Smith, the left tackle who protects, he'll have a $14.25 million cap hit coming up this year. He's got 1 year left. This is his final year on his contract. This is something that the Bucs may be able, again, you may be able to shed this and move Tristan Wirfs from right tackle to left tackle next season. Tristan Wirfs by far was probably one of the best offensive linemen in all of the National Football League in his rookie season last year. So again, if he would be willing to do that, they could move Tristan Wirfs from the right side to the left side to protect Tom Brady's blind side. They could shed $14.25 million if they want to go ahead and maybe move on from Donovan Smith. That's a possibility. Now, there is zero chance of Smith being released this offseason now. That doesn't prevent him from potentially being involved in the action. With 1 year remaining on his contract, Tampa Bay could look to extend Smith's deal to provide some guaranteed money, then reduce his short-term cap hit to save cash now. So that could be something that they could do. Now, Mike Evans, he has a $16.3 million cap hit coming up this year. He's got 3 years, $53.9 million left on his deal. Now, he has already come out and said that he would like to renegotiate his contract to bring in more of them. Therefore, the Bucs would have to have consecutive with such a move to avoid damaging the cap table in future years. So this is something that they'll have to restructure. We'll have to see what they do with that, because he has already come out. Mike Evans came out shortly after they won the Super Bowl and said that he would like to restructure his contract to bring guys back, to bring this team back that won the Super Bowl last year. Ryan Jensen will have a $10 million cap hit coming up this season. He has 1 year left on his deal. Now, again, here's another thing with Jensen and left guard Ali Marpet. You want to keep these guys, but again, at his age, with just 1 year left on his deal, it could be beneficial for both the Bucs and Jensen to work on a contract extension. Again, you work on an extension, you cut the cap hit down. That's something that they do. The Bucs have been very, very good at this, by the way, guys. They've been very good at keeping guys around and, restructuring contracts. We'll have to see if they can pull that off again this year. Cameron Brate will have a $6.5 million cap hit. He's got 3 years, $28.8 million left on his current contract. Here's a guy right here, guys, that really did a good job last year with Rob Gronkowski because O.J. Howard got hurt. And he'll be the next guy I mentioned. He's the next up on my list. Brady's due a $250,000 bonus on March 22nd, and he would account for 0 in dead cap if he were released. There's a possibility, guys, that he might be the guy that gets released. If that's the case, he could end up landing in New England or somewhere else where they can use him and use another tight end. That could definitely be something that they could do next year. And if they do that, then you probably will see Rob Gronkowski come back. Now you have O.J. Howard, who have a $6 million cap hit. He's in his last year of his current deal. Howard's financial situation aligned similar to Brady, but the Bucks hold on to 1 or 2. Odds are it would be Brady that would be the healthy and fruitful and a rotational piece in the from the off season. So that's something, guys, that they would have to look into. The Bucks would owe 0 in dead cap by releasing Howard before March 17th. Guys, today's March 1st, so they got 16 days to do that. That, of course, is St. Patrick's Day for the people that celebrate St. Patrick's Day on March 17th. So we'll have to wait and see if that's what they do, because O.J. Howard got hurt. Would they cut him or release him out of his – because, again, they drafted him, and could they get rid of him and hold on to Brady and Rob Gronkowski? That could be something that they could do. Defensive end William Goldston will have a $5.5 million cap hit. This is his last year of his deal as well. He is set to turn 30, take on the second largest cap hit in his career. Goldston simply isn't worth his contract at this point and could be upgraded from. Note, none of Goldston's remaining cash is guaranteed, making his dead cap hit, if cut, a total of 0. So again, they could cut Mr. Goldston out of there and bring back, say, Sue or somebody like that on that defensive line that is anchored by Vita Vea. Punter Bradley Pinion has a $2.8 million cap hit. He's got 2 years, $5.7 million left on his contract. Now, again, salary cap started to drop between $15 and $20 million from a year ago due to the coronavirus pandemic, as we all know. Kickers and punters that have hefty salaries could be the first players to be replaced just about league-wide. Again, making him, if they cut him, making him dead equal to 0. So, again, guys, we'll have to wait and see what exactly happens and what the Bucks do to bring some of these guys back or hold on to some of these guys. But then also, on the flip side of it, they would have to still, bring some of these guys back. All right, so Tom Brady was more injured during the 2020 season than some realized report. Brady had one of his best seasons in recent memory, even as reports of an injured knee surfaced. Again, he did have his knee cleaned up. The same knee that, of course, was injured back when he was a Patriot. That was the year that the Patriots went 11-5 with Ryan Mallett as their quarterback and missed the playoffs that year. So Brady will require more than just a little cleanup, unlike earlier reports that called the surgery on his knee minor. The Boston Globe reported last month the remark of Brady's friend put a damper on the previous report, said that Brady needed minor knee surgery. Bruce Arians last week that Brady could be ready for camp by June. He was pictured wearing a left knee brace during the Bucs celebratory boat parade. He finished regular season, guys, with 4,633 passing yards, 40 touchdowns, and 12 picks. I, again, would not look too much into it because of the reports, guys, coming from the Boston Globe, a paper that has been downgrading Tom Brady since he left the New England Patriots. Nothing against the Boston Globe, but that is what it is. They have downgraded and called him, a traitor for coming to Tampa and all this and all that. So, we'll have to wait and see the truth out of that. Who knows where they got their information from anyway. All right, guys, I do have some Rowdies news to select. Again, I don't really, I try to look into this every week, guys, to try to give you some news about the soccer team. The season is, I think, getting ready to start up for them. They did sign Canadian midfielder Matthew Serbley the other day. He will be signing his pending league and federal. He is beginning his professional career, current USL League One side Toronto FC2, where he made 51 appearances over 3 seasons and notched 7 goals and 9 assists. A native to Brampton, Ontario, he joined the Danish club Thisted FC on loan after Toronto FC2 withdrew from the 2020 League 01 season, where he made 5 appearances before their season was postponed due to COVID-19 concerns. So again, Coach Neil Collins is expecting him. That checks all of our boxes. This is a great addition to the Rowdies, who, guys, again, if you do not know, were the East champs in the USL this year. They were the East champs. They didn't get to play in their championship game against Phoenix because of COVID issues. I highly wish that they would have played the game, because I really think, honestly, if they had played the game, the Rowdies would have won that game, and it would have been the Bucks, Lightning, and the Rowdies that have won titles, and the Rays were in the World Series. What a great way that Tampa celebrated with all their teams winning a lot of things. Two of them winning major titles, one of them being in the World Series, and the other one being that got their championship game cut short. So that's, that kind of sucks. But then again, there's another notch that the Rowdies can put in there. And I'm hoping, guys, myself, I'm hoping, next year that I get an opportunity to go to a Rowdies game. I would love to do that. I mean, even if I have to wear a mask to go, I would love to go to a game. I've never been to a Rowdies game, and I work not too far from where the Rowdies play at Allang Field in downtown St. Pete. All right, guys. So we are going to go ahead now and jump to baseball. Spring training has arrived, and it is already kicking off. Here we'll start with the Miami Marlins. And let me go ahead, guys, real quick. I'm going to check the scoreboard here real quick for the Miami Marlins. Let's see here. Let's see what we got here. Let's check the scoreboard from earlier today. Guys, the Marlins won 2-0 earlier this afternoon over the New York Mets. They only played 7 innings. Each team had 5 hits. The Marlins had 2 runs. And those runs, guys, came from one person. That would be Aguilar, who went 1 for 1 with 2 ribbies and 1 strikeout. So, again, he was 500 at the plate. So, again, he's the only one that got them. Jesus Aguilar, their first baseman, had 2 RBIs today. The 2 winning runs came off of his bat over the Mets. So let's go ahead, guys, and take a look at what the opening day roster could look like for the Miami Marlins. Let's see here. So here is a list of, let's see here. I know I had this up earlier, so let me zoom out. Here we go, right here. Right here is what I'm looking for. So the pitchers are going to be as follows: Sandy Alcantara, Pablo Lopez, Sixto Sanchez, Alvaro Hernandez, Nick Niebert, Anthony Bass, Richard Breyer, Paul Campbell, Adam Siebler, John Curtis, Ross Ditweiler, Dylan Floro, Yami Garcia, and James Hoyt. Position players will be Jorge Alfredo, Jesus Aguilar, Esan Diaz, Brian Anderson, Miguel Rojas, Corey Dickerson, Starling Marte, Adam Duvall, Chad Wallish, Garrett Cooper, John Beretti, and Marcus Sierra will be the guys that they have predicted. The starting lineup will look as this. They'll have Jorge Alfredo, the starting catcher, Jesus Aguilar starting at first base, Esan Diaz starting at second, Brian Anderson starting at third, Miguel Rojas starting at shortstop, Corey Dickerson starting in left field, Starling Marte will be in center field, and Adam Duvall will be the right fielder. And then again, here's who they will have on the bench. Garrett Cooper can play the first base, outfield. Chad Wallish is the backup catcher. John Beretti is your utility guy. Outfielder will be Marcus Sierra. And, of course, the starting rotation will be as follows: Sandy Alcantara, Pablo Lopez, Sixto Sanchez, Iverzar Hernandez, and Nick Nehart are the starting 5. Marlins are predicted. And, of course, the bullpen will be Ross Ditweiler, Richard Breyer, Paul Campbell, James Hoyt, Adam Sieber, John Curtis, Dylan Floro, Yami Garcia, and Anthony Bass are all there. So there we go with them. And again, guys, they had a minor league game yesterday as well. They won 6-1 over the Houston Astros in 7 innings. They had 7 hits, 7 hits and 6 runs. The Astros had 1 hit, 1 run, 7 hits, and 1 error in the game. Again, the RBIs, guys, 1 came from Nunez, who's at shortstop. 1 came from J.J. Bleday. Let's see. One came from John Doolin, Garrett Cooper also. I'm sorry. Lewis Brenson had 2 RBIs. Garrett Cooper had 1. Jazz Chisholm had 1. So there's 4 of them right there. That 4 of the runs. JJ Baudet had the other one. So there's 5 of the 6 that came today. So they are 2-0 guys so far this year during spring training. So they are off to a good start so far for the Miami Marlins, getting their off to a 2-0 start. So let's talk, guys, about the defending American League champion Tampa Bay Rays coming into the season. Here are some things that they are dealing with. The Rays started off the spring season with a walk-off win courtesy of Tristan Gray's 2-run homer in the 7th. Remember, most games will only run 7 innings, so that was pretty cool. So again, they're hoping for a healthy, productive Yandy Diaz, which is high on their list in 2021. So again, let's see if that happens. Again, if you have not heard, Ira Glass now has added a 3rd pitch that they are all excited about. I've heard that on local radio on 620 WDAE here locally. They've been talking a lot about him, and he's off to a great start. That's a pitch that he's added to his repertoire, so that definitely will be that. Of course, the biggest thing I think with every baseball team, guys, with the 162 game season, that MLB is predicting COVID is going to play that. We're going to have to see how many of them end up, having that. Now, the Rays did play a game yesterday as well. Again, they won 9-7, and again, you heard earlier what happened. They had 11 hits, 2 errors. The Braves had 7 runs on 8 hits and no errors in the game. But again, with a limited there, pretty damn good there. Their pitching was also excellent yesterday. The earned runs came from Hunter Strickland. Jeffrey Springs had 2, and Yaco Rios gave up 2 as well. I think the Rays, let me check, guys, on the Rays today. The Rays scoreboard. Let me check and see what they have. Sorry, guys, that I'm checking my phone. I've been having some internet issues, so I don't want to go ahead and disturb my podcast because of that. I'm trying to figure that out. The Rays lost today, guys, 6-5 to the Minnesota Twins. The game only lasted 6 innings. The Twins had 6 runs on 7 hits, 1 error. The Rays had 5 runs on 5 hits with no errors. The Rays scored 3 runs in the 3rd, 2 runs in the 4th. The Twins scored 2 runs in the 2nd, and the 4 runs came in the 5th inning, which sunk the Rays there again. So the Rays are 1-1 so far during their start to their spring training season. The Marlins are 2-0. The Rays are 1-1. So there you go with that. So let me go ahead now, guys, and move to the National Hockey League. And we will start with the Cats in South Florida. And that is the Florida Panthers, who, by the way, guys, are tied in the division with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Very, very close in record. So this is pretty damn cool because I'm kind of hoping that we will see Florida play Tampa Bay in the playoffs because that's what we want. We don't have a rivalry with them. We want to play them in the playoffs, and that's something that we need to do. We need to have that. Well, back last week on Thursday, they beat the defending Western Conference champion, the Dallas Stars, 3-2. Again, guys, the Panthers, guess what they did, guys? They had no goals leading into the 3rd period and scored 3 to top the Dallas Stars, who had 2 goals in the 2nd period. Those 3 goals, guys, that I was referring to, one came from Alexander Barkov. Let's see. One came from Anton Strawman. The other one came from Vac Toronto, also had 1. Those were the guys that scored the goals, the 3 goals that ended up being the winners for the Florida Panthers. Now, they did play, guys, just 2 short days ago on Saturday. They lost 4-3 to the Carolina Hurricanes, who are the 3rd team coming up to kind of fight with the Lightning and the Panthers for the division lead. This was in a shootout loss, by the way, guys. It was, again, the Florida Panthers had no goals to the first 2 periods, They scored 3 in the third to force overtime. There were no goals in the overtime. The Panthers only had they shot all 3 times and missed, and the Hurricanes scored 1 goal to tally a 4-3 win. The Panthers still got 1 point by getting to the overtime period. So there you go with that, guys. They stand at 13-4-3. The goals came from Hornquist, Huberdeau, and Vatro again had a goal in back-to-back games. Let me see, guys. Again, they have a game tonight. So let me see exactly what happened this evening with the Florida Panthers. Let's take a look at the scoreboard, guys, and see if they're currently playing, because they could be currently playing as we speak. Currently, guys, they are in the third period, and it's 1-1 with Carolina. They have 32 shots on goal. Carolina has 25. The goal came from Frank Bolantro. He has scored 3 straight games for the Florida Panthers. He has been a scoring machine. He has been a scoring machine as of late for the Florida Panthers. So congratulations to them, as they are currently in a 1-1 dogfight with the Carolina Hurricanes, trying to get back at them for the loss earlier in the week. We will now take a shift to the defending Stanley Cup champions. Now, just like last Thursday, the Lightning did play as well. They won 3-1 over the Carolina Hurricanes in a dogfight. They had some fights with the Hurricanes that I think they played in like 3 or 4 games in a row. They had 1 goal in the second, 2 in the third to get a 3-1 win at that point. And the goals came from Barclay Goodrow, Yanni Gourde, and Miguel Sergachev in that win. Then comes just 2 short days ago, and they blank the Dallas Stars. Finally get to play the Dallas Stars, by the way. Every game that the Lightning was scheduled to play against their Stanley Cup opponent got canceled due to COVID. Then it was the power outages in Texas. So the Lightning scored 1 goal in the first, 3 in the second, and then they finished off with 1 in the final period. Those goals came from Anthony Cirelli, Steven Stamkos, Patrick Maroon, Andre Palat, and Braden Point were your goal scorers in that game. They have a game, guys, tomorrow against the Dallas Stars here in Tampa, so they will go back at it tomorrow. Again, Andre Vasilevsky had another shutout. I think he's had back-to-back shutouts again in his career. That's something that we can definitely look at there. Again, guys, just to be on the again, I want to say that the Sunshine State Sports Jabber is again sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience of your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? All right, guys, so now we will move to the National Basketball Association. And by the way, this team has decided that they are not going back to Canada, that they're going to play their playoff games here in Tampa. That's the Toronto Raptors. Now, their virus issues have worsened. 2 days after they beat the Rockets, several coaches, including head coach Nick Nurse and star forward Pascal Siakam, are sitting out due to NBA health and safety protocols. So that's not good for the Toronto Raptors. You're definitely going to need them there to be in there, be down the stretch. Now, they did have a couple games last week. They lost 108-116 to the Miami Heat in that game. The leading scorers there, guys, were OG Anunoby, who had 36.6 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 14 points. The biggest points getters were Freddie VanVleet with 24 and Kyle Lowry with 24. They played 39 minutes for VanVleet, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. For Lowry, he played 35 minutes, 7 rebounds, 8 assists with his 24 points. Norman Powell was the next guy, 33 minutes, 1 rebound, 3 assists, and 17 points for him. So, again, that was kind of the way that it went. Now, they did bounce back just 3 short days ago, beating the Rockets, who I remember earlier in my article, I just said that they had beat the Rockets. They beat them 122-111 by 11 points. Again, the big time here, again, Norman Powell, 33 minutes, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 30 points in the game. Freddie Van Fleet, 38 minutes, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 25 points. Kyle Lowry, 33 minutes, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. That's a double-double. And, of course, 20 points. So Kyle Lowry had a double-double in the game. So this is a game that was more good. You got a lot of guys that are in double digits. I count 5 guys with double-digit points in this time around, which is excellent for the Toronto Raptors, who are, again, sit at 500 currently at 17-17. Now, they do have a game tomorrow against the Detroit Pistons. Tip-off, guys, is at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you guys are listening to this outside of the Eastern time zone. It would be 4:30 on the West Coast. It'd be 6:30 Mountain Time, in case you're wondering along those lines for that. But that is how that goes. The next NBA team, guys, that I cover is the Miami Heat, who are the defending Eastern Conference champions, and they have not gotten off to the great start that they thought that they were going to have this year. That has not happened for them yet, but they do say that Miami rookie Precious Achiuwa has been an energy player off the bench. This guy has shined, which, again, I think I mentioned his name early on when they picked him up. When I started covering them on here, he is finished with 14 points and 7 rebounds to help the Heat win their 6th straight game. So the Heat are on a 6-game winning streak. So that's pretty damn good. And Precious has been a big part of that. The Heat are now 17-17, return to the court Tuesday night against the Hawks. That's tomorrow night. Their last 2 games, guys, they won. Again, they're on a 6-game winning streak, so you know these are going to both be wins. 124-116. At the time, they beat the Utah Jazz, who were one of the top teams in the Western Conference. So here are your leading point getters. Jimmy Butler, 35 minutes, 10 ribbies, 8 assists, 33 points. The next guys would be Goran Dragic. He played 33 minutes, 3 ribbies, 3 boards, 2 assists, 26 points for him. The next one will be Bam Adebayo. He played 34 minutes, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 19 points. In that, Andre Iguodala, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 8 points for him. So there's been some guys, there for them. The Atlanta Hawks, which was the game yesterday, they won 109-99. They beat them by 10 points. Again, the big guys for this time around, point getters again, Kendrick Nunn, 33 minutes, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 24 points. The next big point getter would be Bam Adebayo, 35 minutes, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 16 points for him. Jimmy Butler must have been out of the game. Precious, 12 minutes, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and 14 points for him in that win. Again, they have a game tomorrow against the Atlanta Hawks. Tip-off is at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And now, guys, we turn to the closest NBA team to yours truly, and that would be the Orlando Magic. When is this? Again, this might be the time for them to start breaking up this team, as the season has not played out very well for them. So is it time for them to break up the team? Let's see who they have as far as that. Evan Fournier would be one of those guys that could go. Below his career high of 18.5 points per game last year, so he's having a lot of trouble this year. He could be one of the guys that they may be shopping around. Potential trade partners for him would be Philadelphia, Denver, the Knicks, the Lakers, the Mavericks, and the Kings. Now, potential trade targets in return for him would be Buddy Hield, Gary Harris, Tyrese Maxey, Kendavius Caldwell-Pope, Josh Richardson, and Danny Green could be the returns if the Magic do make some trades. Mohamed Bamba is another one that could be traded out for the Magic. His potential trade partners would be the Knicks, Hornets, Wizards, Thunder, and the Kings. Now, in return, it would be Malik Monk, Abada DeLeo, Kevin Knox, Jerome Robinson, Troy Brown Jr., Nabat Baracha, and Frank Nikita would definitely be coming back. Nikita definitely would be coming back. So there you go with that. The next one, guys, obviously would be Aaron Gordon. Gordon's trade partners, guys, definitely would be, let's see who they have listed for him, would be the Nets, Nuggets, Timberwolves, Portland Trailblazers, Suns, and the Golden State Warriors. In return, they would want C.J. McCollum, Spencer Dinwiddie, Kelly Oubre, Andrew Wiggins, Paul Millsap, and Rodney Hood. So you're asking for a pretty good player in return if Aaron Gordon is to go. The last one, guys, will be Nicole Vukicic. Here's another guy that has been, with the Magic for a long time now. His potential trade partners are as follows: the Celtics, Nets, Bucks, Raptors, Hornets, Bulls, Spurs, and Warriors. Potential trade requests would be Terry Rozier, James Wiseman, Spencer Dinwiddie, DeMar Rosen, LaMarcus Aldridge, Kelly Oubre, Andrew Wiggins, Lamar Marcusson, OG Anaba, and Brooke Lopez could all be in return if the Magic would ask in return for a trade. The Magic back last week, guys, lost to the Nets 129-92. In that game, guys, the leading scorer was the Dragic. He played 32 minutes, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 28 points. The next high scorer was James Ennis III, playing 16 minutes, 3 rebounds, no assists, and 15 points. Not a very good one when you only have 4 guys that were in double digits in points. The next game was this past Saturday. They lost 124-109 to the Utah Jazz. The lead scorer again was Bennett again. He put 35 minutes, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 34 points. The next guys would have been Evan Fournier, 34 minutes, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 16 points. So again, not a very good thing for the Magic. They are playing this evening. So let me see what the score is between them and the Dallas Mavericks currently on here. So let's take a look, guys, and see what the scoreboard is for the Orlando Magic right now. So let's see here. They went final. They lost 130-124 in this game. The leading scorer was Ivanovic. He had 29 points. He played 35 minutes, 15 rebounds, 8 assists in the game. So again, the next leading scorer was Evan Fournier. He had 27 minutes, 26 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists in a 130-124 loss to the Dallas Mavericks. So again, they lose by 6 points tonight. So we'll go now, guys. We're going to go ahead and shift to the collegiate level, the amateur athletes. And I'm going to start with the boys down in Coral Gables, and that is the Miami Hurricanes. These are way too early hot takes for the 2021 Miami Hurricanes football season. Guys, we are on the verge of having spring football coming back. So again, let's see what we have. Spring, nearly 2 weeks away from Manny Diaz and the Miami Hurricanes. So these, again, are way too early hot. Let's take some of the hot takes that they will have. Will Monroy will have the best statistical season of any tight end in Miami Hurricanes history. He has the ability to catch 40 balls and get at least 400 yards receiving. All that despite vanilla play calling on the offensive side has grown accustomed to. So again, could that possibly be something? Right now, he is only he's only 519 yards away from Jeremy Shockey, David Nuadua, 700. Oh no, I'm sorry. So these are the ones. The all-time record is Kelvin Winslow with 726 way back in 2002. So that's a possibility that could be very, very happening. De'Aaron King will rewrite the record books for quarterbacks in Miami. Of course, he eruptively and violently torn his ACL at the end of the season last year in the Hurricanes bowl game versus Oklahoma State. Thankfully, King is slated to be ready for fall camp. These reports have King well on schedule. So would he be back? Could he again set some records? Again, they open guys against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Let's see. Single season passing yards. Steve Walsh had 3,742 yards in 1984. So again, single season record 1988. Steve Walsh with 29. Single season touchdown record was Malik Rozier with 31 in 2017. Mike Harley will graduate as the all-time receiving yardage and reception leader at Miami. He would have to pass two legends in Reggie Wayne with 173 and Santana Moss with 2,546 yards. Those are the two guys that hold the records. Al Boy Jr. will make the ACC first team, so we'll see if that happens. Miami will field at least 6 ACC first teamers. That could be something that we could see this year. Tyreek Austin Cave will hit 100 tackles and lead the Hurricanes in tackles for the year. That's another one, guys. The defense will have more tackles for loss than last season. That's another thing that they'll have to step it up this year. The offense and defense will both be in the top 20 nationally. So, again, that's something. Mark Pope will break out to pace the receivers' room in yards and in touchdowns. Have to wait and see if that is something that comes up. And, of course, like always, go Canes. So see if that happens. And, again, 2 weeks away, I'll be talking more about as we approach spring football for Manny Diaz and the Miami Hurricanes football team. In basketball, back last week, they lost 88-71 to the ACC rival Florida State. In that game, guys, the highest point total was Isaiah Wong, who played 33 minutes, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. He had 29 points. You had 2 players at 12 points in Anthony Walker and Cameron McGusty. One person with 11 points, and that would be Elijah Owani, was that in their loss to the Florida State Seminoles. The next game, guys, which is 2 days ago, they lost to Clemson 66-58. In that game, Isaiah Wong was once again their leading scorer, 39 minutes, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 28 points. The next would have been Anthony Walker, 38 minutes, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, and 13 points in their loss to the Clemson Tigers. They have a game that they're playing tonight against Virginia. Tip was at 7 p.m. They should be midway through there. I don't have a way of looking up NCAA basketball. Now, last Thursday they played. Or this is the women. These are the Lady Kings. They beat the Demon Deacons 69-67. Their leading scorer in that game, guys, was Destiny Harden. She had 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. There was a couple ladies with 12 points, and Naomi Badabla and Kelsey Marshall both had 12 points to help them win. They beat Clemson yesterday, 68-62. The leading scorer was, again, Destiny Harden. She had 4 rebounds and 21 points. The next would have been Anita Banks. She had 6 rebounds, 1 assist, and 13 points in their win. Now, they finished the season, guys, so now they move on to the ACC tourney, which starts against Virginia Tech this Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So they'll play the Virginia Tech Hokies in the first round of the ACC tournament this year. So that's the way that the Lady Kings got to their ACC tournament. See if they can make a ripple there. Next, guys, I will shift all the way up to Tallahassee, or the Florida State Seminoles, and here is their FSU roster spring breakdown. Quarterback, they're going to have Mackenzie Milton, Jordan Travis, Chubba Purdy, Trey Rudemacher, and Geno English will be one of the starting quarterbacks for the Seminoles this year for Mike Norvell and company. At running back, they'll have Joshua Corbin, Lawrence Toffoli, Devon Sheffield, G.J. Williams, Kajah Douglas, G.J. Daniels, Treshawn Ward, Kiko Abaso, and Corey Wren will be in the backfield. So one of them will be the starting. Then we'll go through the wide receivers. Keyshawn Helton, Ontario Wilson, Jordan Young, Brian Robinson, Malik McLean, Darian Williamson, Cedric Vincent, Bryson Hill, Fernando Pardon, Anthony Whedon, Joshua Burrow, Jordan Young, Adrius Dent, Parker Self, Keetron Poitra, and Andrew Parchman will all be the wide receivers there. At tight end, you'll have Wyatt Rector, Preston Daniel, Jordan Wilson, Ben Asako, David Stickles, Carter Boatwright, Jackson West, Austin White, and Markston Douglas will be at the tight end position. The left tackles will be Darius Washington, Boyd Willis, Devontae Love-Taylor. At left guard, you'll have Devontae Lucas and Thomas Schrader will be there. At center, you're going to have Maurice Smith and Bevion Johnson. At right guard, you have Bevion Johnson, Devontae Love-Taylor, and Zane Herring. Right tackle, Robert Scott Jr., Brady Scott, Devontae Love-Taylor. Defensive end, Jermaine Johnson, Dennis Briggs Jr., Derek McLennan, Keyshawn Floor, and Josh Griffiths will be the defensive end at nose. Robert Cooper, Fabian Lovett, and True Thompson. At defensive tackle, you have Fabian Lovett, True Thompson, Dennis Briggs Jr., Malcolm Ray, and Jarrett Jackson. You'll have at the Fox position, Kiera Thompson, Dennis Briggs, Josh Griffiths, and Leonardo Warner III. Linebackers will be Stephen Dix Jr., Emmett Rice, Amari Grainer, Leonardo Warner III, DJ Lundy, Jamal McCray, and Kellen DeLoche. Cornerback, you'll have Jamie Robinson, Jacquez McKillian, Brandon Moore, Javarius Brownie, Kevin Knowles, Jarian Jones, Hakeem Dent, and Travis Day. Safety, Jamie Robinson, Renardo Green, Travis Day, Bernard Grant, and Sidney Williams. The buck position, Brandon Grant, Travis J, and Jamie Robinson. The kickers will be the punter, will be Parker Garovis, Ryan Fitzgerald, and Adam Shinari. And then that's the kicker position, and the punter will be Alex Mastamano. Returners will be Travis J, J.K. Douglas, Shashawn Corbin, and Keyshawn Hilton. Okay, guys, so that's kind of the spring load up for the Noles. Again, just like the Hurricanes, are getting ready to start their spring season. Again, thinking back, guys, on the flip side, I was just talking about when I did the Hurricanes last Wednesday, the Noles beat the Canes 88-71. Their leading scorer, guys, in that contest was Shadar Calhoun, who had 16 points, 24 minutes. He had 3 rebounds and 3 assists. The next one, guys, would have been Vasal Kopervika, 23 minutes, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 13 points in the win over the Hurricanes. They unfortunately lost to the North Carolina Tar Heels just 2 days ago, 78-70. In that game, the leading scorer was Raquel Gray, 32 minutes, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. He had 17 points. The next one would have been Anthony Palat, 26 minutes, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 10 points. I'm sorry, I apologize. It was Scott Barnes, 22 minutes, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 12 points. But still, those were the next 2 biggest point getters for the Noles in their loss to the North Carolina Tar Heels. They have a game 2 days from now on Wednesday against the Boston College Eagles. It's at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time there. The Lady Noles lost to the Fighting Irish last Thursday, 72-64. Their leading scorer on that one was Bianca Jackson. She had 1.2 assists and 18 points. The next one would have been Valencia Myers. She had 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and 13 points in their 8-point loss to the Irish. On the flip side, just yesterday, the Noles won 59-51 over Wake Forest. This time around, they had 3 players with 11 points, and Bianca Jackson, Valencia Myers, and Morgan Jones all had 11 points in that 8-point win, 59-51 over Wake Forest. Their regular season has also come to an end. Their opponent will be to be announced. It'll be a Friday tip at 2:30 in the afternoon. And now, guys, we will flip to the guys that call Gainesville home, and that is the Florida Gators. So we'll go ahead and shift to the Gators. And now, coming out last year, obviously the weakness last year was the defense. And defensive coordinator Todd Grantham has said that his defensive issues are irrelevant. It is time to move on from last year's team and get ready for this. We want to talk about moving forward. Grantham said, frankly, on Tuesday we have spring practice now. The issues and reasons before are really irrelevant now, in the sense that is what it is. We're going to play good this year with young players, and we're going to continue to develop and to grow. So again, that will be something to look at, as that was the issue going down the stretch. There were a lot of issues down the stretch with the Florida Gator defense. But again, we'll have to wait and see. This team had a very bad ending to their football season, losing to LSU on a stupid penalty, then losing to Alabama very close in the SEC title game, and then being blown out by Oklahoma because they had a lot of people sitting out in their bowl game. So we'll have to wait and see what they have in store this year for, again, springtime is here. So we'll have to wait and see what exactly happens with them moving forward. Now, their basketball team just last week beat the Auburn Tigers 74-57. In that game, guys, The leading scorer with 19 points was Trey Mann. He had 31 minutes, 13 rebounds, and 3 assists in that game. The next leading scorer would be Scottie Lewis. He played 28 minutes, no rebounds, no assists, but had 16 points in that game in their 74-57 win, winning by 17 points. They also, just 2 days ago, beat the Kentucky Wildcats 71-67. In that game, the leading scorer was, again, Trey Mann, 35 minutes, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 21 points. And then their second leading scorer was Cole Calston, who played 34 minutes, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 14 points in their 16-point win over Kentucky. The Gators are currently 14-6 on the season. They have a game against the Missouri Tigers on Wednesday, and tip-off is at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Lady Gators, back just 2 days ago on Sunday. This is last Sunday, on February. They beat the Tigers, Missouri Tigers, or lost the Tigers 96-80. Leading scorer there was Kiera Smith, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, and 34 points. The next would have been either Danielle Rainey or Jordan Merritt, who both had 12 points in that 16-point loss. Then they would lose yesterday to the Georgia Bulldogs, 95-80. Again, the leading point scorers there were Jordan Merritt and Kyra Smith, both had 16 points, and Nikita Richards had 14 points. And actually, there was another young lady, Flora Tonders, had 16 points as well in yesterday's loss to the Bulldogs. Their regular season is over. They start against Auburn on Wednesday. Tip-off is at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys, now we will shift to the boys that call Orlando home, and that would be the UCF Knights. So, again, we're shifting now. Gus Malzahn, of course, if you guys have not heard, is their new head coach at USF. So, again, they have that going on. And, of course, he's going to get questions and everything that open up. He's had a lot of Auburn players transfer to UCF. Obviously, that they would do that. He has filled his coaching staff. But, for all my UCF fans out there, I'm going to tell you one thing now. What you had with Josh Heupel here is not going to be the same kind of offense that Malzahn runs. You're not going to have that hurry-up offense that UCF won a lot of games, running that up-and-down offense, and they scored enough points to where their defense was okay enough to where they could score enough points, obviously not to have to worry about that. Now, a couple weeks ago, they beat the USF Bulls 81-65 in that game. The leading scorer was C.J. Walker, 36 minutes, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 18 points. They had 2 players with 14 points in that game. Devarius Perry and Darren Green Jr. both had 14 points in that game. A couple weeks ago, too, they won 84-81 over the Tulane Green Wave. That one, Devarius Perry had the leading thing. He had 34 minutes, 1 rebound, 7 assists, 20 points on that front. Oh, I'm sorry, Isaiah Adams led it. 32 minutes, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 26 points in that win. They have a game tomorrow against the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Lady Knights won 55-53 over Tulsa. Their leading scorer, guys, in the game would have been, let me see here, that is going to belong to A. Lewis. She had 15 points in the game. She played 35 minutes. As a team, they went 70% from the field overall. Then they came back and clobbered the Temple Owls just a couple of days ago, 61-37 in that game. And once again, you had C. Sanders, 22 points for her. They shot 64% from the field. They have a game against USF at 5:30 tomorrow. So that's their next game, tip-off for that game. And now, guys, we will move to the closing of my show and the team that calls Tampa, Florida home, and that is the USF Bulls. And by God, do I have some great news for USF football fans. This has been coming in the works for a long time. In fact, on Bullseye. Please join that group, guys, on Facebook. Larry Frank does a hell of a job running that group. Get over there, sign up. If you're a USF athletics fan, he posts everything on every sport, not just football and basketball. He posts softball, golf, tennis. He posts everything, soccer. Well, guess what? Finally, I asked athletic director Michael Kelly just a couple months ago when he was on that show. I asked him straight up, are we going to get an indoor football facility? They were a long way away. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We are no longer a long way away. They got a $25 million donation, and the USF will finally have their indoor practice facility set up. It will be set to build at the end of this year, early summer, spring, summer, is when they will begin breaking ground on that indoor practice facility, finally, for the USF Bulls. Now, again, the next question again then comes up, when is it going to be a on-campus stadium? I specifically asked Michael Kelly that question. His answer, ladies and gentlemen, was simply this: that is not in the cards as of right now. It would be $200 million to build an on-campus stadium. And by the way, they draw enough revenue at Raymond James Stadium to play there. The Bucks don't care that they play there. They have a good relationship at Raymond James Stadium. Why would you want to change it? And let me ask you this question, guys, because I get a chance to cover USF football. I would much rather drive down Dale Avery to Raymond James Stadium than drive into downtown Tampa through Malfunction Junction. If you guys don't know what the heck I'm talking about, it is a stretch of 275 heading north on 275. And when you get there, traffic is backed up from Fletcher and Fowler Avenue, where the university sits. I don't know where they're going to put a stadium down there. I don't know how much room USF actually has, but nevertheless, it is a absolute pain in the butt to make that drive. So leave it at Raymond James Stadium. Be happy that you finally got your indoor practice facility. I will be on with Larry Frank, probably discussing this very topic tomorrow night on Bullseye at 9 p.m. So head on over there. I will be talking more about that tomorrow evening. But again, finally, we have the announcement that the Bulls are having an indoor practice facility. They finally got it. Congratulations. They're going to call it the Leroy Selman Athletic Center. That's what it's going to be called. So congratulations. They finally got that taken care of. The men's basketball team has not been a very good year for them. Last week they lost 65-47 to Temple in that game. Leading scorer Justin Brown, 31 minutes, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 16 points. Next would have been David Collins, 30 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 13 points in their 18-point loss to Temple. Then yesterday they lost. They got blown out by Houston, 98-52. The leading scorer there was Xavier Castanda, 34 minutes, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 11 points. The next one would have been Caleb Murphy, 34 minutes, 2 rebounds, no assists, and 10 points. And an absolute lackluster, guys. They only scored 21 points in the first half. Guys, they were down, if I look at this correctly, they were down by 45 points in the first half of the game. 45 points. They went into the half down by 45. That's insane. Again, they have a game tomorrow against Memphis at 9 p.m. I'm sure that me and Larry will be talking about that. That's about the same time that our show goes on the air, so we'll be talking about the Bulls tomorrow night. Now, they did win against the ladies basketball team, won 56-47 over the Temple Owls last week. Their lead scorer of that game was Bethany Manuga, 29 minutes, 20 rebounds, 1 assist, and 10 points in that game in their 9-point win. Now, the heartbreaker was they only lost their second game of the season just yesterday, or on Saturday, losing 67-49 to Houston. Again, the leader in that game was Elena Tsezeki, 26 minutes, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 24 points. But they were unable to they lost by 18 points, only the second loss of the season. Again, just like I said earlier, they will play UCF tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So, again, I will probably be talking about that. That game will probably be over by the time that Bullseye kicks off tomorrow night. Well, guys, like I said, thank you again. That is the conclusion of the Sunshine State Sports Jabber. I appreciate everyone who stepped in here, even if you were in here just for a second to listen to me. And in case you're wondering, guys, yes, I do have a YouTube channel called The Sports Nerd Brad Walker. The Sunshine State Sports Jabber and the Walker Report will be in its entirety over there. I will always send the links over there for you guys to watch those in its entirety if you can't catch it on here. Again, this has been the Sports Nerd Brad Walker. Sunshine State Sports Jabber is part of NGSC Sports. Remember the website, guys. It's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. And this show is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website, arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venues. Pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? Again, guys, thank you very much for coming in. Thank you, guys, for giving me some time to mourn my mom's passing. If you have not heard, my mom passed away on January 30th. We found out over the weekend how she passed away. She passed away from cardiac arrest and respiratory failure was the primary reason how she passed away. We have her ashes. We will be doing some kind of celebration of life for her in the near future. But I want to thank you guys for letting me mourn her death and not I've been getting very good views on both my shows. I appreciate everyone. I love every single one of you guys that do that. But before I go, guys, as I always do, I'm going to start with thanking the doctors, nurses, and first responders who have been the true heroes since March of 2020, since the pandemic started here in the U.S. Thank you guys. Again, you guys are the true heroes through all of this, and I want to say thank you to that. Also, to the men and women of our armed services, both active, retired, and the ones who have left us, thank you for your sacrifices. I would not be able to do this 3 days a week if it was not for what you guys do for us. We love our military. Thank you so much. I bleed red, white, blue. So thank you guys, because we have the best military in the world. Also, guys, to our domestic soldiers, our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics, thank you very much for what you do, keeping us safe here domestically as well. And like I said, guys, thank you for coming on and listening to me kind of talk for the last hour plus. Again, I will be on Bullseye tomorrow night with Larry Frank starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the Walker Report, guys, will be about sports records. We were unable to do that last week. My co-host was sick. We'll be talking sports records on the Walker Report that starts at 8 p.m. Thursday night Eastern Standard Time. Head on over there. It's a 2-hour show with my two co-hosts, Adam Mangle and Louis Tenure. We will be both back on that show as well. But, guys, until then, I'm going to call it a night. Everyone, please stay safe out there. Keep doing what you're doing so that we can get back to going to sporting events, going to movies, having outdoor events, being able to meet in large groups and stuff like that. Until then, guys, everyone, have a safe night. I will see you here next Monday. And until then, peace.